thank you, Barbara, so much for hosting us in your lovely home, this great event, and to all of you for coming. It's really wonderful to see so many people, to meet so many good Democrats here today. Thank you to all the elected officials who are joining us. And Lawrence McDonald, I especially want to thank my friend Lawrence. This party was his idea. So thank you, Lawrence, and work for And I'd also like to mention someone who couldn't be here today, Mark Habib. He worked with Lawrence and Barbara to put this party together. And I wish he could be here, but he had to be out of town. Well, so why should all of you here in Arlington who don't live in my district, who can't vote for me, why you should support my candidacy against Mark Obenshain? Well, the answer can be summed up in 2 words. Scott Walker. The Evite said that I'm taking on the man who would be Virginia's Scott Walker. And that's really true. And by the way, I'm sure, as most of you know, Scott Walker is probably the worst thing that ever happened to this wonderful progressive state of Wisconsin. He has divided that state terribly. He's gone off after workers' wages, gone after unions, gone after education, gone after women, the environment, all the while working to cut taxes for the wealthiest corporations. And of course, he's the Koch brothers guy. The Koch brothers support him enormously, and they get a lot for their money. Well, Mark Obenshain is the Koch brothers guy here in our state. When he ran for Attorney General in 2013, the Koch brothers gave him $60,000. And the Koch brothers are pretty canny guys. I think they knew that Mark Obenshain would advance their anti-democracy, anti-environment agenda. And I was going to explain some of that, but Barbara did it far better than I could. You heard about some of the bills that he is opposed and favored. So that's the kind of guy he is. And there's every reason to think the Koch brothers are going to continue investing in him. It's widely believed that Obenshain is planning to run for governor in 2017. And we have got to stop him. Yeah. And if I can beat Mark Obenshain in my 70% Republican district, I think that will definitely put the kibosh on any plans he has to be in Richmond as governor. And I'm running to win. But even if I can't win, if I can make a good showing, if I can make a better showing than Democrats typically make in our very red district, then that too will help weaken Mark Obenshain and weaken his chances of becoming governor. So it's definitely in all of our interest for you to support my ability to wage a very strong campaign against Obenshain. Now you might wonder why I'm running. Why I'm taking this on. I've never run for public office, and I never really imagined that I would. My passion is climate change. And you know, I've been a nature lover all my life. Nature is a source of inspiration for me and comfort. It's also been very painful to me to see what is happening to our beloved planet, especially now that I've learned a lot more about what's happening with our climate. So that's really what first motivated me to look into what is happening here in Virginia when it comes to climate. And I didn't have to look very far before I saw the pernicious influence of Dominion power. Dominion power really puts the fossil in fossil fuels. Dominion power has worked to make it harder for people throughout Virginia to install solar panels on their homes, and he's done plenty of other things that are trying to drag us into the past instead of moving us forward in green alternatives. Mark Obenshain has been with Dominion power. I can't think of a single instance where he has supported the people of our district instead of Dominion power. He's worked with Dominion power to make sure we don't get good climate legislation passed, good energy policy. And when, in this most recent legislative session, when the General Assembly enacted SB 1349, the Dominion bill, our legislators worked to make sure that that there were improvements made to Dominion's proposal. And these improvements are important, solar, etc. But Mark Obenshain was not insisting on any improvements. He was happy for Dominion power to get whatever they wanted. Okay, well this is corruption, and it's familiar, but what worries me even more than a greedy company like Dominion trying to take more than its fair share is a whole new kind of this terrible thing that we are seeing big corporations, fossil fuel companies, it's a new kind of corruption, fossil fuel companies and other giant corporations banding together basically to steal the people's government. They're stealing our democracy. More and more big corporations are having a greater say in our legislature and in legislatures around the country and in Congress, and the people's voices are being drowned out. So we have got to stop this corporate takeover. We've already gone quite a ways down this road, and we've really got to fight back and win back our government. For the power, of course, has done all this bad stuff, and Mark Obenshain is right there with them. And it's important. What I am trying to do is reach out to conservatives in my district. I have a plan for doing this. And first of all, before we go there, I want to talk a little bit about our Democratic strategy. I've got a great campaign field director, Catherine Morrison, who is here today. And we are reaching out to all the Democrats, get our people there, show them how important it is. We've got a great campaign going door to door and on the phones. I'm reaching out to the conservatives in our district by trying to use language that is meaningful to them. I'm talking to them in terms of patriotism and in terms of Christian morality. When it comes to patriotism, I think most conservatives see themselves as patriots. They think it's very important to be patriotic. So I'm reaching out to remind them that the first duty of a patriot is to protect the gift our founders gave us, the gift of democracy, not just government of the people, but by the people and for the people. And that great gift is being lost to the corporations, and we have to fight to get it back. That is the first duty of a patriot. So I'm trying to talk to conservatives in those terms to help them to see that I am the candidate that they should support, who advances patriotic values, who is working to protect our government, the gift our founders gave us. And then the other, my passion, as I said, is climate change, and I'm trying to reach out to conservatives, many of whom consider themselves strong Christians, and those Christian values are important to them. So I'm trying to talk to them in terms of the golden rule. We must do unto others as we would have others do unto us. And I believe that includes not just all of us around today, but it includes the coming generations. And so in order to make this point more vivid to conservative audiences, I had a poster made, which I will share. Meet my two darling granddaughters, Dahlia and Leora. Now, of course, this campaign isn't just about them, but they can stand in for all the children, all the little children who are depending on us to act to protect them. Because it's what we do now that will have a huge effect on the kind of world that they live in. Whether it will be a world where food and fresh water are scarce, whether rising seas will continue and will swamp Virginia's coastlines and coastlines around the world, whether warfare will become more and more prevalent. For it is what we do by our actions and our inactions that we are doing unto them, just as surely as if we were gathering them into our arms to protect them or pushing them off into onrushing danger. The golden rule, that is the golden rule. And how, if we were in their position, how would we want them to do unto us? Wouldn't we want them to keep our vital interests in mind? We wouldn't want them to do as Mark Obenshain has consistently been doing in supporting the short-term profits of his corporate sponsors at our expense and at the expense of all of these little ones. Reaching out to conservatives by using the language of patriotism and the language of the heart of Christian morality, which is the golden rule, I'm trying to awaken in them an understanding of just the real values that are at stake here in this contest between Mark Obenshain and me. And in speaking this way, I'm also talking about what is most sacred to me, to protect our endangered democracy, to protect our endangered planet, and to protect our endangered children and grandchildren. And I'm also working hard to make sure that Mark Obenshain doesn't have the chance to do to Virginia what Scott Walker has been doing to Wisconsin.